Assalamu alaikum students. I am Adnan Hossain, lecturer in English, Dhaka College. In the last class, we have discussed about punctuation. Today we are going to continue that topic, and what we are going to do is, today we are going to discuss about capitalization. So, students, let's let's move our slides, and now we can see that in which cases we have to use capital letters. For example, the very common instance when we use capital letters is the beginning of a sentence. That is, the very beginning letter of a particular sentence is always a capital one. A very common sentence like "he likes it," or "I am a student," or "we are going to our college." In each of the cases, we are using the capital letter when we are starting the sentence. Then, in case of a poem, now see, we have written two lines from a Shakespearean poem. These are actually two particular lines taken from a sonnet written by famous English poet William Shakespeare. "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?" THWD means you, whatever. This is not the area of the discussion of capitalization. "Thou art more beautiful and temperate." In both cases, "shall I compare thee," when I am using the letter shall, using the word shall, then what I am doing is I am using capital letter to start this word shall. At the second line, when I am using the word thou, then I am using capital letter again. So the lines of a poem, the beginning of any line of a poem, we use capital letter in case of them. Then comes another example, that is proper noun and proper adjectives. Nazrul is a great poet. Nazrul is a name. He likes the Chinese dishes. Here, dishes is particularly the noun, which is modified by another noun, that is Chinese, which is ultimately a kind of noun adjective. But when proper nouns, that is basically Chinese is the name of a nation. So when proper nouns are being used as adjectives, then these are called proper noun adjectives. And basically any noun which is working as an adjective, that is basically a noun adjective. So here we can see that the word Chinese, this is modifying the noun dishes. Chinese is a proper noun. That's why we have written Chinese with a capital letter. Although the main word dishes, which is being modified by the noun adjective Chinese, it is written into smaller letter because basically dishes is a common noun. This is not a proper noun. And in each of the cases, for example, we'll like our great all-rounder Saqib al-Hasan. Now when I am writing Saqib al-Hasan in the middle of the sentence or at the end of a sentence, then I am capitalizing it. I am using the capital letter. Then comes the name of day, month and historical event. For example, we can see I came here on Sunday. Sunday, it is written in capital letter. He went home on January. January, this is the name of a month, this is written in a capital letter. And the Battle of Palashi happened in 1757. So Battle of Palashi, usually the word battle is written in smaller letter. However, the battle, when we are writing it as a particular historical event, like the Battle of Palashi, like the Battle of Panipat, or the War of Bangladeshi independence in 1971, in these cases, when these are being referred as a particular historical event, then we are writing this into capital letters. Although even then, if these are written in phrases with prepositions, like here, the Battle of Palashi, it contains a preposition of. The prepositions will be in smaller letter. But when I am writing, for example, the War of Independence in 1971, both war and independence will be in capital letter. The question is why? Well, a logical explanation of doing everything, writing everything in capital in case of historical event is, when I am mentioning a particular historical event, basically this turns to be a proper noun. So when it is a proper noun, ultimately we are writing it, we have to write it in capital letter. That is, when we are writing about a particular historical event, then it is becoming a proper noun. Then the pronoun I. Well, in every cases, I will be in capital letter. That won't be in a smaller letter. No I, if I is the pronoun, then no I can be in smaller letter. I came here yesterday, this is at the beginning of the sentences, but he called me, but I did not see him. Here, even here, although I is at the middle of the sentence, it will be in capital letter. Then interjection. In case of interjection, oh, what a beauty. Now, when we are writing this oh, ultimately we have to put a note of interjection between them, and in case of this oh, the O will be in capital letter, and after the note of interjection, even then, what a beauty, this part, in this part, what will be in capital letter. Then abbreviations, when we are abbreviating sentences, like he is an MA. So here MA refers to Master in Arts. Now, in each cases, the abbreviations will be in capital letter. From the words regarding degrees like MA, MBA, to the abbreviations of many organizations like NSI, the National Security Intelligence, the National Intelligence Service of our country, or DGFI, the Army Intelligence Service, or CIA, this is the Security Agency of United States of America. All of these names will be written into capital letters because they are basically abbreviations. So when we are abbreviating anything, ultimately we have to write down into capital. First letter of a quotation. Now when I am quoting something, ultimately it will be in a capital letter. The first word will be in capital letter. Like the headmaster said to the students, you should obey your parents. So here you, the word you is being used at the beginning of the quotation, and here the word sound you is being started by the letter Y, and this Y will be in capital letter. Again, let's think about another instance. That is when I am quoting any famous person. Like Julius Caesar said, cowards die many times before death. So here, cowards die. The words coward, it is being started by the letter C, and this C will be in capital letter when we are quoting it. But when I am transforming it into indirect narration, ultimately the particular quotation will be changed, and at the same time the capital letter will be transformed into smaller letter. Like Julius Caesar said that cowards die many times before death. So here the word coward will be in smaller letter because we have changed, we have transformed the form of the sentence. That is, we have changed the speech, we have turned into an indirect speech from the direct one. However, as long as the quotation remains in the direct speech, it will be started with a capital letter. Then addressing something in letters. For example, you are writing a letter to your friend, to your mother. In that case, my dear mother, mother will be in capital letter. Dear sir, suppose you are writing an application, or many of you are already planning to apply for abroad studies in abroad. So in that case, you have to write down a cover letter, and there you may start with the word dear sir. Then first letter of any book. That is when we are writing about any book. For example, the Holy Quran. In case of this Quran, the Q will be in capital. The Observer. The Observer was a newspaper. So not only books, but also any newspaper, any holy book, any story book, everything will be capitalized. For example, you are writing that I am studying, right now I am reading the Datta, D-A-T-T-A. Now, Datta is a very famous novel written by Sharat Chandra Chatterjee, and here you are writing Datta in capital letter. That is, the name Datta will be started with capital D, not smaller d. The rationale, the logic behind capitalizing the names of a book, of the books or the newspapers is, of course, these are also proper nouns. And when I am saying that proper nouns will be in capital letters, ultimately what I am establishing that the names of the places, the names of the persons, the names of particular objects which are being used as proper nouns, everything will be actually in capital letter. So starting letter of any business, education, institute, association, team, place of worship, etc. So when you are mentioning any business organization, for example, the Beximco group, so the Beximco, the B will be in capital letter, and the whole Beximco group, even the group will be in capital letter. Because Beximco group, this is basically a proper noun. This phrase is a proper noun. Any education is institution. When I am saying that I am going to college, then I can write down the college with a smaller c. But when I am saying that I study in Dhaka college or I teach in Dhaka college, in that case both Dhaka and college will be in capital letter. Why? Because this is also a proper noun. The name of an education institution, that will be in capital letter. Then when I am speaking about any team, for example, Real Madrid is playing very well. Now Real, the word real. This is although an adjective, but now when it is being used with along with the word Madrid, ultimately this whole phrase refers to the name of a team which is actually a proper noun. So we have to use capital letter in case of both real and Madrid. Place of worship, for example, the Tara Mosque. The Tara Mosque is a famous place of worship at Dhaka. So in both of the cases, the Tara and the mosque, these two words, both of these words will be written into with capital letter at their beginning. Now, when I am saying that the Tara Mosque, we have to remind that when I am normally saying that I am going to mosque for prayer, ultimately what I am doing, I am not using capital letter in case of mosque. But when I am writing the Tara Mosque or the Baitul Mukarram Mosque, ultimately mosque will be in capital letter, because here the mosque, although it is a kind of common noun, but here the word mosque is being used as the part of a phrase which is ultimately being used as a proper noun. That is Baitul Mukarram Mosque or Tara Mosque. These are the names of particular places of worship. So these are basically proper nouns. These are not common nouns anymore. Dhaka College. College, it's a kind of proper noun, okay, fine. But when I am using the word, it's a kind of common noun. But when I am using the college along with Dhaka, ultimately it is referring to a particular institution, and that is the reason we are using capital letters in case of both the beginning of Dhaka and both the beginning of college. Then ship, train, aeroplane, famous places, etc. So if I say that the Titanic sank in the Atlantic, so the Titanic is a proper noun, and that is the reason we are using Titanic, we are using capital letter when I am writing Titanic. We visited the Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal is a proper noun and it will be started with the capital T. Direction. Now, when I am in general using any direction in Bangla, which we call dik, side, then I can use a smaller letter, like he went to north. He went to the north. Ultimately, it is in smaller letter. But when the name of a particular direction is the part of a particular geographical area, then what we will do is we will use capital letter, like he fled from North Korea. Here, north is capitalized. The N of the north is capitalized, while at the other sentence, earlier sentence, we see that north is not capitalized, because at the first sentence north is a mere direction, while at the second sentence north is the part of the name of a country. Then personification. Personification means what? Attributing human-like qualities upon the objects upon lifeless objects. For example, oh death, where is your icy hands? Now here death is being addressed like a person. Now this D is being capitalized. Supreme deity. Deity means in Bangla upasyo. Now supreme deity refers to whom? Basically, Islam is a monotheistic religion, but in other polytheistic religions, even they have the concept of supreme deity, but they have some lesser gods. So here, when I am saying that he prayed to God, God is the supreme deity, Allah Ta'ala himself. But when I am saying that the Greek gods are human-like, in that case, this word gods is actually referring to the lesser so-called Dev-Devis in Greek ancient Greek religion, and that's why this God will be in smaller letter. So what we have to remember is, when I am saying that I am praying to God, then ultimately it is in capital letter. But when I am saying that the Greek gods are very much interesting characters, in that case these gods will be in smaller letter. So students, let's have a quick review. We are getting some contrast, like when we are using the name of the supreme deity like God the creator himself, then we are capitalizing, but when we are speaking about lesser gods, we are not capitalizing. In case of the direction, when the direction is normally mentioned in a sentence like I am going to the north, in that case this is okay, we are using capital letter, we are not using capital letter. But when I am saying that I am going to North Korea, or he fled from North Korea, ultimately north is the part of the name of a country, which is a kind of proper noun, so we are capitalizing it. So in every cases we are getting a proper noun to be capitalized. For example, the name of the ship, train, famous places, etc., these are also proper nouns, so these will be capitalized. Starting letter of any business organization or educational institution or team or place of worship, these are also proper nouns, so these will be capitalized. First letter of a book, book is itself a kind of proper noun, so this will be capitalized. Addressing someone in the letters, that is very much important, that in case of addressing in a letter, you are ultimately capitalizing it. Then in any quotation, whether the quotation is at the middle of a sentence or not, that doesn't matter, but the starting letter will be capitalized. In case of any abbreviation, whether it is at the beginning of the sentence, at the middle, or at the end, that doesn't matter, but abbreviations will be always capitalized. I, the pronoun I, which in Bangla means ami, or in case of any interjection we will capitalize it. Then the months of the name of the days, historical events, months, these are also proper nouns, so these will be capitalized. Then that is very much obvious that the names of the proper nouns and proper adjectives, these will be capitalized. And the first line of a poem always, that is after, even here we see that shall I compare thee to a summer's day, this is a particular line. The next line, thou art more beautiful and temperate, this is also being capitalized. So each of the line will be started with a capital letter, and what we have to remember is every line of a poem ultimately works as a particular sentence, so this will be capitalized. And of course the very age-old rule, that's the beginning of a sentence. So punctuation was a rather very much easy topic, but often we make mistakes, because when we find that everything are in a smaller letter, then often our brain is getting jumbled and we fail to capitalize the proper words which are needed to be. So what we have to do is practice more and more, and when I'm practicing, I have to keep these things in mind, that is the starting of any sentence and all the proper nouns, these things will be always capitalized. So these are the very two basic tips to remember about capitalization. Okay students, that's for all today. Allah Hafiz, best of luck.